There is nothing worse than untapped potentials. If you know that you're made for more, this is the place. I know that every successful person I've ever met has one thing in common. They do not let themselves fall victim to their circumstances. They figure out a way to rise above it. So join me on this journey where I help you to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business. If you're feeling stuck and you're needing some practical tools, some hope to get you to that better life, this is definitely the place for you. Oh my goodness, you guys, welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. And Maria, welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. You guys, this is my beautiful friend, Maria Eleonora Bailey, and she is the founder and leadership coach for Conscious Career Coaching. Oh my goodness, like how cool is that? All of the fanciness. And so girl, like I'm so excited for you to be here and to share your heart and your story and all of the cool practical tools that you can help people who are feeling stuck right now. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here today. I'm super excited.
Yay. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I had a mouthful when I introduced you because of all the fanciness. And so I want you to like break that down. What does all of that mean? How are you showing up in the world? How are you serving people today?
Yes, absolutely. So a couple of years ago, I started just helping women with their businesses. And then I understood that what I was doing actually was coaching people. And then I went to coaching school, got certified, and now I help corporate people, like corporate professionals, with their careers. And that's why I am offering now coaching, not now, but it's been 7 years already that I'm working as a career and leadership coach. And I love very much what I do.
I know that's why we connected, because like leadership is my jam. I love all things leadership. In fact, this is kind of embarrassing. I haven't even posted this on social yet, but I reorganized all my books. And leadership was the second biggest category of my books. The first one is personal development, and then the second one was leadership. Yes. I just like, oh my gosh, and this is so embarrassing. I had one fiction book in that entire collection, and it was a gift. So I am such a nerd.
I get it. I totally get it. I'm the same way.
I just love the fact that, this is passionate, for you too. So how did you ever get into this line of work? Tell me about that.
It was really natural always to help people, support people. My friends and family would always come to me to ask for, help, support, a shoulder, anything. But I never thought that could be a profession, that I could do this, for work. I just thought, it was like a natural thing. I could listen to people and this is it.
Yeah. You're a good friend.
Exactly. Yeah. And then one day I realized that it has a name and it has like a federation and everything. And then I became, a coach. That was it.
And so why specifically career coaching? Tell me a little bit about that. I want to know, like, how did you land on that particular subset?
Yeah, so it was actually a trauma of mine. I was lost in my career for over a decade, like 10 to 12 years. Mm-hmm. I never knew what I wanted to do because, again, I never knew that my talent had a name.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't know what I want. I would like work for companies and have great jobs and amazing colleagues and benefits and all the good stuff, but I was never happy.
Yeah.
And the day I figured it out, like, oh, okay, so what I do, all the books I'm reading, all the videos I'm watching is actually called coaching. Yes. When I realized that, I was like, okay, I don't have to be miserable anymore waking up to go to work. And I don't want people to be miserable anymore waking up to go to work, because it's something that it can be amazing. And I truly, truly believe that working and having a career is just another way for you to express who you really are, and not just another chore. Yeah. So it was like in my personal story. It was like, no more suffering.
I love that. And just to kind of give our audience a little idea of what you mean by that, because you might have somebody out here listening who's like, yeah, I think that's me, but what do you mean by like the suffering and the struggles? Like what were you feeling every day when you went into work, or the people that you're helping now? Like, what are they feeling when they're going into their jobs? Because honestly, I think that sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. So what does that look like in that space?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what my clients and I
Yeah.
actually were feeling and experiencing, it was just like a lack of harmony. And I know that sounds like a really, I don't know, maybe touch
Yeah.
feeling, but
Yeah.
it is just like, why am I doing this? And why am I doing this every day for
Yeah.
so many hours? Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't
Yeah.
energize me. I don't like it. And if I think that I have to do this for maybe like 40 years,
Yeah.
what's the point? So
Yeah.
it's like really a lack of balance, a lack of harmony, like um, almost like a anxiety, but worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That
yeah,
the Sunday night like dread of, having to go in. And I think that, when you don't take a moment to think about that, I think that fine is a word that a lot of people are used to just saying, right? Like, it's fine. Like, it's paying the
yeah.
bills. Like, I went to school all these years. Like, why wouldn't I use that? Right.
Hmm.
And I think that what you said was really powerful. It's like, if you can think about doing the same thing for the next 10 years, how does that make you feel? And if your
Yes.
stomach starts to turn a little bit, listen to that, because that is something inside of you saying, like, you know what, there's actually more than counting the days. Like, I literally have colleagues, Maria, who have it down to the hour that they are able
Mm,
to retire, like years down the road, like, like 2 years, 90 days, and 5 hours. Like,
mhm.
wow, right? Like, that's really
Yeah.
hard existence to have. And I think that I would love to know what your thoughts are on this, but I think that sometimes when people are, not happy in their jobs, it's not always that the job is bad. It's just that you're not the right fit for that career or that job,
Yes.
right? Like, it might have seemed
Yeah.
natural at the time, or maybe you were already in school and you're like, well, heck, I'm not going to quit now. I might as well keep going. Even though it might have not have been the good fit to start. I'm not a quitter, so I'm going to keep going, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it doesn't mean that the place that you are is bad. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. It's just that the fit is not as good of a fit
For
as you
you.
thought. Yes. And one of the things that I'm finding is that for me, I think I said this in a podcast interview that I did recently, where I just had taken the Myers-Briggs for the first time.
Uh-huh. Cool.
And what was so interesting is that when I look at the Myers-Briggs and my results, they do not fit my career in anesthesia at all.
Mm.
But they fit my entrepreneurial journey and all the things that I'm doing right now. And that makes sense, because I'm like, oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, like, I feel like I'm coming alive when I do what I'm doing. Like, I can't stop. My husband has to say, it's time for bed, or put your phone down, or put your computer down. I love it so much.
Yes.
And I still love anesthesia, and I really enjoy that, but it's something about like using your natural gifting in the most perfect fit way, and to being able to execute all of your natural gifting. And I think that was probably one of the things that I struggled with, is that I had these gifts, but I wasn't able to actually use them in the role that I had.
Exactly. Because
And
sometimes it's not as obvious, right?
right.
How you gonna put all the gifts together and also like be able to deliver something to the community, the world, the
Yeah. Yeah.
society.
Yeah. And I think that, it's more than just existing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so what I would love for you to tell us is a little bit more about the people that you've helped so far, because you went from a corporate job into this entrepreneurial space and this coaching space, because you discovered that, oh my goodness, what I loved learning about and reading about and doing is actually a job that I can have, a career, a business that I might have. Do you find that the most of the people that you coach are going from a corporate career to entrepreneurship, or do you find that a lot of people go from one subset of a career to another subset of a career that's in corporate America?
You know what is really interesting? Most of my clients, I can actually say 100% of my clients, they do not want to open a business, which I say hooray, because so many people think that the solution for their, troubles and problems is just opening a business.
Yeah.
And you can speak with me that opening a business, it is definitely not an easy solution.
It's hard. It's
It's
hard, but when
hard.
you know in your heart that it's the right fit, like it's worth it, but it's
Yeah.
not for the faint of heart, for
No,
sure.
it is not. It's not at all. And I absolutely honor this place of like, no, I don't want to have a business, because I do believe that some people, they need the structure of a corporate job to thrive, to be their best, to perform. So most of my clients, I should say again, 100% of my clients, they just want to perform better. And what I think is interesting is that most of my clients, they just want to be more natural inside corporate, which I think is so beautiful and so amazing. So it's more like, how can I bring myself, and again, how can I bring my gifts, my purpose to a career there is inside a corporate, a corporation. So it's really like a matter of maybe becoming a better leader, a matter of exploring other positions and other roles. Some of them don't even want to change like the company, like they love the company they are. They just like haven't found yet which role or which department they could be doing their best.
Yeah.
So no, they definitely not want to go to opening they definitely don't want to open a business, but they do want to be better professionals, which
Yeah.
again, I highly support, because so many people should not have a business. And so
One of the
many
things that
people, yeah.
I literally just had this conversation with someone, and I thought it was so insightful. They said, if you even think that you might want to start a business, a really great way to start in that is to consider network marketing, which I had never thought
Yeah.
about that, because network marketing allows you to essentially start a business in a box, right? You have something already set up, procedures already set up with a support system in place. And then you get to test out to see, am I able to get myself to work when nobody's telling me to work? Am I willing to have conversations that maybe are uncomfortable and I have to push myself out of my comfort zone? Am I willing to grow on my personal development side, because you can't grow in business as an entrepreneur if you don't work on yourself? Like that's just not going to happen, right? And so I'm like, that is such an interesting perspective, because it kind of lets you get your foot in the door and say like, yeah, I like this, or no way in heck am I ever going to do this? And so I'm like, that is really good advice. And so I don't know, I had to share that. So do you find also that people come to you and they are at a certain stage of life? Is it all over the board? People in their 20s all the way up to people in their 60s. Where do you find the people that you're helping?
Most of my clients, they are entry level, so they maybe like left college 2 to 3 years ago.
Okay.
Or mid level, so they're already like managing and leading some people, but they're like, what else is out there? How can I do this better? How can I be more comfortable where I am? Like now I'm finally there, but it feels weird. So, like how
Yeah,
can
like
I
imposter syndrome almost. Is that what you mean by that?
absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
right? So like all of a sudden you got this position that you've been wanting, and then you're like, holy crap. Like looking around your shoulder, like if they find out that I have no idea what I'm doing, or, gosh, people are actually going to listen to me, like, oh, that's scary, because I've been there. When I was on faculty, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? And so I think that's really, yeah, that's so interesting. And one of the things that I love about the specific word of being stuck, Maria, is that when people feel stuck, it's this sense of I'm somewhere where I don't want to be and I need to get out. Right? And so stuck, in a sense, is not this complacency, like, all right, fine, I'm just going to live my life and be, like fine and live to die. And, hopefully I'll retire and still can enjoy my retirement, right? Stuck people are just like, something doesn't feel right inside and I need to do something about it because this is not where I want to stay. And I just think that I want you guys to listen to that little soft voice, and the fact that people come to you already have listened to that, right? Because they're coming to you and they say, hey, something's not right. I know that I know that I want better than I have right now, whether it be my mindset, whether it be a position, but I know that I want better for myself. And the fact that they have that awareness is beautiful, and they come to you. And so I just love that. So Maria, I got to just say that what I want to dive into next is all of the things that you do to help people. So when they come to you and they're like, okay, Maria, I'm stuck. I need you to help me have better. What should I do about that? Or what can I do? That's what I want to talk about next, right after this quick little break, where I want to share with you guys what I have been super passionate about myself, because this is what literally makes me come alive. And it's coming up with a system to help you literally crush all of your social media for an entire year and have it all done in a single weekend. And that way you can get on with your life and keep growing and doing all the fun things without having the stress of social media. So hold tight. I'm going to tell you all about it in a second. And then we're going to be back with Maria here. Okay? Hey, lachellewieme here, and I got to ask you, are you feeling like you're always on your freaking phone and you're trying to run your business, your family's complaining about you always being on your phone, you feel like you're winging it constantly, and all you want to do is have a strategy that lets you be 100% authentic, and you are literally attracting the right people to you? Oh my goodness, that was me too. And I had to figure out a system that would make that work. I totally nailed it. I have a program all designed to help you do that too, including a chance to spend the entire day with me so that I can help you write copy that attracts people, and you will literally be done for an entire year. If that sounds like it's something that you need, we totally need to talk. Go ahead and click this link and let's get started. Okay, you guys, I cannot wait for us to continue this conversation, because the people that are listening to this, Maria, that might be like, okay, yeah, I can relate to that. Like, I do feel stuck. I do feel like I want to be more comfortable in this role and I want to push myself, but I'm a little scared. Or I think that I'm capable of more, or I'm capable of different. What would you tell somebody who is like, okay, that's how I'm feeling. Now what? What do I do about it?
I think, first of all, like, allow yourself to be on this, with this unstuck feeling. Because so many people, they tend to go like, I'm feeling bad, but it's fine. I'm feeling bad, but they don't allow themselves to say, like, you know what? I'm going to change. I deserve better. I'm going to do different. So kudos for you that, you know, it's allowing yourself to say, I deserve better. Then the next step is you start asking questions, which, you know, guys, this is actually my secret sauce. I'm giving everything here. I'm giving away everything. You start asking questions. This is actually one of the most powerful tools that a coach has, that a therapist has, like, and you can, you know, share with me. Having questions and starting to explore and understand, maybe from a different point of view or perspective, it is so important. And most of the times we are feeling stuck because we are not asking enough questions. You're just like, oh, this is what it is, or this is how it is. Such and such is like this. As we could never change things and situations and behavior. And that's where, when we start to feel stuck. So start asking questions. Like, what is in here for me? Why this is happening? What can I do different? And I think, you know, like, asking questions can change everything. Of course, there are so many other techniques, but asking questions is just so simple. And if I can share another piece of the asking question, is asking questions that is outside of the yes or no questions. So the famous open-ended questions, right? The questions we start with what, how, why, when. They will, take you further.
I love that. And, you know, there is so much power in questions. And I love that this is where our conversation is going. And I got to tell you this, like, nerdy, you know, part of me, because I did my doctorate dissertation on coaching and I have my coaching certification. I have a lot of friends who are coaches, right? And so I'll be stuck and I'll have already asked myself a whole bunch of coaching questions. Like, well, why does this bother you? And what do you think is keeping you from doing something like this? And then I'll go to my friends. I'll be like, okay, I've already asked myself this, this, and this, and this. This is what I've come up with, but I need you to help me get further.
Yeah.
And so, you guys, like, that's the thing. Like, you can use questions to help yourself. You can use questions to help other people. And you can have, questions from your coach help you get unstuck. I love that. So what kind of questions do you think are important for us to ask ourselves?
I think any questions that could help you analyze better the situation, and there oh my gosh, there are not judgmental questions, right? So why is this person wrong? Or why am I wrong? Or, like questions without judgment, I think they are even more powerful than just asking. So getting out of the judgment and really going to a neutral state, like I just want to understand. This is it. I don't have a side. I'm going to put my feelings and emotions away for maybe 10 seconds, for maybe 30 seconds, and ask just 2 questions maybe. And if your emotions start to arise and, start to get overwhelmed, then let's try some more questions later or tomorrow. And if you're really having a hard time, there's so much support everywhere. So many coaches, so many programs, so many apps, even YouTube. Sometimes you can find a great way to just look at the situation from a different perspective, which is actually what a question brings you, an opportunity to see from a different point of view. And then from this point of view, you can start analyzing like, okay, so maybe I can try out this thing, or maybe this is also a no for me.
Yeah.
Some other set of questions. And they're like, okay, so there's this path. Let me learn a little bit more about it.
Yes.
And
I love that you go into it with a curious mindset. Like you said, no judgment. Like, I wonder what would happen if, right? Or, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah.
And literally just be completely curious, because I think that sometimes, at least myself, I shut myself down by shaming myself for thinking a certain way.
Yes.
And that's curiosity helps you to avoid that trap. Okay, so I would love for you to talk to us a little bit more about the people who are, how do you discover if you feel like you're in the wrong career altogether? How do you work through discovering, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? What are some questions that you could ask yourself, or, that'll help you discover what that is supposed to be?
I think there's one thing for us to consider first. It is that sometimes we were on the right career, and then something happens. Priorities, change, and lifestyle change. And then there is always a possibility of a different career. Because this is something that people sometimes struggle. Like, I was happy for 10, 15 years, and now I'm not happy anymore. And that's okay. Let's figure out something else. Yes. So there is that as well, right? You were happy, but you're not anymore. And then what can come next?
That is so insightful, because I think that, like, I love anesthesia, but what I don't love is that I have a hard time getting time off to be with my family, right? Because I have a family now. And so that changed. So I still love what I do, but I need the work-life balance to allow me to be the mom that I want to be. And I think that is just to take that moment and not judge ourselves, just be like, acknowledge that, like, okay, well, this changed. That doesn't mean that I'm bad, or doesn't mean the job is bad. It's just that this changed, and now it's time to re-explore this. I love that.
Yes, exactly. So, exploration, it is really the key. A couple of questions that you could be asking yourself, like if you feel that you are in the wrong career, or if your career doesn't fulfill you anymore, it can be, what are my other interests? Because sometimes, like it happened with me, sometimes you think that your hobby is just a hobby, and it's not anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be a career. Maybe it could be a new service that it will be offering. So what else am I interested in? It, I think, is an amazing way to start. What can I do? What could I do just for fun? What can I do for free? Like things that really motivate you. Because sometimes what you could do for free, you can actually do inside of a company.
Yeah.
And be happy, and just, and also remembering and considering that along the way, we learn so many new skills and so many new, competencies. And that may be like that one skill is really key for you to kind of jump on something new.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that happened to me. Like I never would have thought that creating courses as a faculty member in graduate school would allow me the tools to build courses to teach people how to build businesses, right? Like I have all these skills. And I think that I love the fact that you even mentioned in your own story that you just what's the word I'm looking for? You figured out what people kept coming to you for advice. And when you can ask yourself that question, like what do people keep coming to me for? Because it's so natural that could be a really great indication of like, okay, well, what could I be doing? Well, do people constantly come to me to ask for them, to decorate their house or to take pictures or to,
help them with taxes. Yeah.
Yes, do their bookkeeping. Yes, like all of the things. And so really having that question and asking yourself, and I love the fact that you were able to discover that. It's so
exactly
fun.
because it sometimes actually most of the times because it comes so natural. Even like if you already have a career, sometimes you do something so natural for your company, your team, and a project that you don't even consider. We tend to think like this is so easy, everybody can do it.
Yes.
And it is not true.
No,
this is a gift that only you have. So this is like, what we have to start paying attention, like what are my gifts? What is just so easy that I think is obvious? This is a gift.
Okay. So I got to ask you this because you might have some people that come to you and they're just like, okay, yes, I can't do this anymore. Like 10 years down the road, like I can't do this. And so they pick up the phone and they call you or they type up the message to you or the email or whatever. And then they get into, a conversation with you and then like, wait a minute, I'm too scared. Like that's change. And I think that sometimes I don't think this is uncommon for people to think that the unknown is scarier than taking the risk and having better. Like it's so scary. The unknown is so scary that they'd rather stay, and I don't want to use the word miserable because that's a really strong word, but unhappy, unfulfilled. They would rather stay unfulfilled than have the unknown of what could lead to better. Does that ever happen to people that you talk to where they kind of freak out and they kind of get nervous and they're like, I don't know if I can do it. It's too scary.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, it's so interesting that even people who sign up, right? Because we know, like clients don't think that we don't know what is going on when we have the discovery session with you and you say like, no, now is not a good time. No, I don't have the money. We know that this is just fear. Right. And that's okay because if you're not ready, then it's not time to start moving stuff.
Right.
But it's also interesting that people who sign up for programs, like there is like the sweet spot, like kind of the middle or the fourth session.
Okay.
They kind of start doubting themselves like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do it because it's still like the exploration phase and they don't see clearly where they are getting.
Yes.
Where they're going to arrive. So this like being unfamiliar with, where I'm going, it's really common actually. But you do have to go through the whole process because you can land somewhere totally different. And we all can. It's not that, such and such made it, but it's not for me. Because this is kind of what we see, like on social media or, in the news, that it is more normal to be unfulfilled than happy. And this is really not true. As long as you're open to do the job, you can be happier and you can be much more satisfied.
Yeah. And I think that, one of the things that I think is so common is the fear of failure.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, like, what if I fail at this? Like, what if I find out that I'm not cut out for this? And I think that, there's so much growth in failure. And I think that so many times we hold ourselves back because we are so afraid of messing up or failing or not getting it right. But that is where the beauty happens. That's where the transformation happens. And I think that when I was going through my rut last year and I was working with my coach, it got messy. And I'm like, I just feel like I don't know what's going on. And she's like, you will always feel that way right before the transformation.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, all the things that have been in order, even if they're like not the things that you want to have in order, they're in order, right? And so now all of a sudden you're losing them that control because it's all different and it's going to be messy right before the transformation. And so I want you guys to remember that, like, if it feels really hard right now or really messy right now, that's a good sign.
It
means you're starting to fall into place and to stick it out, right?
Yeah. Creation comes from chaos. Creation comes from chaos. Remember this, guys. If it's feeling chaotic, hooray, you are creating, and just keep going.
So, what other advice do you have that we haven't already touched on to help people who are feeling this way? And they want something better, but for whatever reason, they keep holding themselves back.
I think I want to share 3 questions.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to really stick with questions because it's easy, guys, to ask questions. Just get in the habit of before making a decision or before stating that something it is the way you think it is, just ask questions. It's just a habit. So if I can share 3 questions, I think this could be really helpful. So paper and pen, how does it get any better than this? This is a question that I love because if things are going great, how does it get any better than this? And then it can be even greater. And if things are getting a little weird, how does it get any better than this? Right? It really helps you to be in a state of openness. Like, what else can I receive from this situation? Even if it's good or if it's bad.
Right.
And then the second question is, what is the contribution here? Because sometimes, especially when we are feeling stuck and we are feeling like the chaos is happening, we are like, there is nothing here for me. Like, we kind of, get on the drama queen or the drama king. Like, there's nothing here. I just want to cry. Everything is wrong.
The victim steps in, right?
Here, like how this situation can be a contribution for me. Like, what do I have to see here? And then we can move along. Once you see and understand and work on it, then you can move forward. And then the third one is, who can help me? One thing that I always tell my clients, and I actually finish my sessions like this, is that you're not doing this alone. Nobody's ever alone. So who can help me? It is also an amazing question.
I love that. Okay. And you kind of like took the words out of my mouth, because I always ask my guests to give our audience a question to ponder to help move them from where they are to where they want to be. And you gave us 3 beautiful ones, and I don't want to take away from those because they're so awesome. But I wanted to say that one of the things that you have graciously offered our guests today is a list of questions that you are going to allow them to use, and we're going to put them in the show notes. And I just think it's so cool because they could certainly use those as even journal prompts, right? To take themselves through a discovery period of what's going on, and really giving themselves a chance to figure out what those deep meanings, longings for, blocks are that are holding them back and keeping them stuck.
Exactly. And if you're not into journaling, you can just ask the question in the morning and observe throughout your day. See if the answer will show up. Lately, I've been meditating on questions. Like, I'm not really, I don't know. I've just lost the interest in journaling, even though I love, but I'm meditating on questions. So I wake up in the morning, ask myself a question. So there's so many ways to use these 30 questions, and just keep asking, guys. Just keep asking. You're not alone. You don't have to be stuck. This is it.
And one of the things that I want to encourage you guys all to do is follow Maria in her footsteps, right? Like, there is always better if you choose it.
Yes.
And the thing is that there's no failure if you learn something from it. So I truly believe that God has led me to make decisions that did not turn out at all the way I thought they were going to turn out.
Oh boy, yes.
But he taught me the lessons. He gave me the tools. He helped me meet the people that I needed to get me to actually get to where I needed to go faster, better, whatever. So even though the outcome wasn't what I had originally thought, it actually turned out better than what I could have planned for. And so I want you to remember that fear of the unknown is scary, but all things will work out for your good if you let them. If you look for the lessons, if you look for the gifts, they're there. And this morning when I was meditating and when I was praying, this came to me, and I feel led to share this, that God puts the desires in our heart. God creates the desires in our heart is how it went. That's what I have it written down. God creates the desires in our heart, which means that he gives them to us, right? So he put that there. He put that little seed there for a reason. And then God creates the desires of our heart, the same sentence, but taking it from a different perspective, he will help you create the things that he has placed in your heart. But you have to do your part. He set them there. He planted them there. It's your job to water them. It's your job to go and fertilize them. It is your job to do what it is that you need to do to take yourself from point A to point B, and to take those risks and to listen to that soft, subtle voice, to reach out to people like Maria to guide you, because he wants better for us. You deserve better, and it's a choice. You can stay stuck, but staying stuck is a choice. Any last words, my friend? Because this has been such an amazing conversation.
After this, I don't have anything else to say. Beautiful, beautiful. Well said. This is exactly it. If you have something in your heart, believe me, it is for you. Just go act.
Yes, this is our chance, my friends. This is our chance. So,
Yes.
All right, my gosh, thank you so much for your conversation. Thank you so much for your beautiful heart, your servant heart, and for giving us all those amazing questions, the advice, all the things. So thank you so much, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And if I can share my website and my social, if people want to contact me, it's www.ccc.coach. Super easy, ccc.coach. Or you can find me on socials at Conscious Career Coaching.
Perfect. And we will put all of that information in the show notes so that it's really easy to click, and you guys can find all of the ways to connect with her if you want to work with her. So thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Untucked podcast. I am so grateful to be on this journey with you. And don't forget to check out the show notes if you want to get into my private club, the Better Club, to be able to learn better ways to be better, do better, and have better. So until next time, keep showing up. Let's get unstuck together. Have a great day.